This is Willy Wonka's golden ticket right here. What does Bogdan Guskov need to do to capitalize on this win and enter the UFC's top 10?
Keep the momentum he's had, Derek. You look at this guy, he's on a finishing streak, bro. This guy has a lot of power, big right hand, barrel of a man that's coming down the pipe. But it's a hard fight against Volkan Oezdemir, dude. This dude is talented. This is basically, to me, just a paycheck and let me get in, like let Bogdan just get a paycheck, let him get into the UFC, and then let him fight some good people going forward. Do you see the same, or is Bogdan really actually going to have a good fight?
AJ, I think disregard the cough, right? I'm going to take over for you. Don't worry. I'm going to take over. I think, folks, that Bogdan Guskov actually has a legitimate shot at doing something unprecedented here and just punching his ticket into the top 10 very, very quickly. The reason why is because if you really think about it, this is a matchup that Oezdemir is supposed to win. This is a matchup that on paper and when you watch film study, he should absolutely win. Those also happen to be the fights that these fighters just get caught and lose in, man, and we don't know why it happens. But the reality of the situation is Bogdan Guskov, his biggest path to victory, his best path to victory is to do what he's continuously done. Be a slickster, land the big shot, put Oezdemir down. But AJ, I'm not going to be on this train again, even though I will. We're going to talk about it. What, 14-2 is the record? We've broken down a couple of guys where if you assess that record, you're like, okay. Well, Oezdemir, and if you look at Ozdemir's last 10, he might as well just give him a record of 50-2. You know what I mean? If you're looking at just like strength of schedule right there. The point is, because that was a pretty bad metaphor or analogy of whatever you want to call it, is that Oezdemir, man, this is the one spot where if you look at his last 10, you look at his record, he has not been able to get a lot of knockout victories. The last one was against Alir Latifi. One before that, Jimmy Manawa. These are some old school fighters. I think he can reverse the clock, man. I think that he could turn the sand, the hour of sand, and flip it on its head. And I think he gets the knockout. The reason why, Guskov got a lot of power, right? But it's hard to cover your chin when your hands are at your hips, man. A light heavyweight Bobby Green, I just don't think he's the guy. What do you think?
That's why I was actually thinking this might be the prop lock, Derek, because that's such a enticing welcome to see somebody at this stage of the game, hands down, coming in full blast with Volkan Oezdemir, who's by all means a precise striker in there. He used to have really good knockouts, but when you get to the top of the division like Volkan has, it's hard to get those ones. I mean, you listed just a few, but even having the Daniel Cormier fight, man, the Rakic fight, the Prohaska, you're taking on not only old stars, but new stars in the mix as well. Volkan has a chance to shine right here, man. That's why I was leaning very heavily towards that prop knockout, man, because there's a lot of juice right there, but at the same point, we might have to flip the script next week whenever we come to do the post show, because Bogdan also has that same kind of power, and anything can happen in a fist fight. I just think it's more so leaning to Volkan Oezdemir than either of the boys.
And this is why it's a scary fight, because this is the fight that Oezdemir should absolutely win. The reason why he's a minus 155 favorite blows my mind, and I think it's only because, all right, he's what? 4-6 in his last 10. Like, that makes sense, right? But this dude Guskov, man, Russian fighter, I think he's Uzbekistanian or something like that. Apologies. But if you look at it, man, it's like almost all first round finishes. If you watch a couple of these fights, you're like, why is this guy even in the cage with this guy? And I've also seen some fights, man, where he's gotten stiffed bad, you know what I mean, with that slickster style. And that's all that I'm saying, is that when you come to a technical proficiency with a top 10 fighter in the world, Volkan Oezdemir, you better come correct. You know what I mean? What's the saying, AJ? You gonna come at the king? You best come correct. Something like that. I don't know. Shout out to The Wire. All right. So, I mean, it's pretty clear cut, right? Prop lock, plus 115, Volkan Oezdemir. I like it. You see it the same way?
I see it the exact same way, Derek. A lot of value right there. Don't bet against it, folks. And if you do win, though, let us know.
Exactly. Of course. Come on. Free game. You know what time it is.